All right, students, good morning. And today we are doing 2.4a, and we are solving polynomials. We're solving polynomials. And let's do a quick refresher on how to solve problems. So let's say I have 2x plus 5 equals 11. So this is a single x, it's not squared, it's not cubed, so we are actually going to have only one answer for this problem. And 2x equals 6. Oops, divide both sides by 2. We get x equals 3. So if I plug x back into here, I will get 2 times 3 is 6. 6 plus 5 is 11. 11 equals 11. So that's how I solve this one. Now, what if I have something like this? X plus 3 times x minus 2 equals 0. What if I have this? How do I solve that? Well, this is factored out. What this original equation actually is, if I were to multiply x times x times negative 2, 3 times x, 3 times negative 2, what I would have originally had is x squared plus x minus 6. That's the original problem. But it's factored out like this, which is good, because now I can solve this problem. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it into two separate equations. X plus 3 equals 0, and x minus 2 equals 0. So I've got the two different equations. Subtract 3, x equals negative 3. Add 2, x equals 2. So there's my two answers. And now I can plug it back in by putting a negative 3 here. So negative 3 plus 3, that's 0. 0 times anything equals 0. Okay. Now let's see, I plug the 2 in here. I get 2 minus 2 equals 0. 0 times anything, or 0 times 2 plus 5. 2 plus 3 is 5. So 0 times 5 would be 0. 0 times anything is 0. So my two answers, this is a square. So I'm going to have two answers. My two answers are x equals negative 3 and x equals 2. Now the last example I want to show you for today is, what if I have 2x times x plus 4 equals 0? How do I solve that problem? Well, if I distributed this x through, what I would have would be 2x squared plus 8x. So x squared, that means I'm going to have two answers for this, two possible answers for this. So I'm going to split this into two equations again, like I did here. So I have 2x equals 0, and I have x plus 4 equals 0. So divide by 2, x equals 0. Because 0 divided by 2, anything would be 0. And then here I have minus 4, x equals negative 4. So my two answers are 0 and negative 4. That's my two answers for this. So that's how you solve polynomials. So for today, we're going to be doing the first page here. We're solving these polynomials. All right, starting out right here, we have x times the quantity x plus 5 equals 0. So I'm going to split this into two equations. X equals 0 and x plus 5 equals 0. So I have, well, that one's already solved. X equals 0. Minus 5 on this one, and I get x equals negative 5. So my two answers are x equals negative 5 and x equals 0. Well, how about this one? Split it into two equations. 5p equals 0 and p minus 2 equals 0. So you see I'm splitting it right here. One group sits here, the other goes here. Divide by 5, so I get p equals 0. And then I have plus 2. I have p equals 2. All right. Okay, now we're getting into some more fun ones. So I split this into two equations. So I have 2b minus 6 equals 0. And then I have 3b plus 18 equals 0. And I do the same thing. I'm going to solve this equation like we did in algebra. Add 6 to both sides. So I have 2b equals 6. Divide by 2 on both sides, and I have b equals 3. This side, subtract 18. I have 3b equals negative 18. Divide by 3. b equals negative 6. b equals negative 6. So you go. Pretty straightforward to solving polynomials. Pretty straightforward. All right. So here we go. It's squared. So we're going to have two answers. And if I break this out, I have x minus 3 times x minus 3 equals 0, right? Because x minus 3 squared, that's what it equals right there. So I break these into two equations. You might already be saying, wait a second, we get the same answer. You're correct. So while there's a possibility of two answers, the two answers end up being the same. So this one, x equals 3. All right. Break this up into two equations. 2t plus 8 equals 0, and 2t minus 8 equals 0. Subtract 8 on both sides. 2t equals negative 8. Divide by 2. We get t equals negative 4. Add 8 on both sides. I get 2t equals 8. And I have t equals 4. So I have t equals 4, negative 4, and t equals 4. T equals negative 4, and t equals 4. All right, last one. Well, look at here. I've got 1, 2, 3. So this is actually cubed. If I were to multiply this all out, I get the third degree. So I'm going to have three equations. I'm going to have this one, g equals 0. Then I'm going to have this one, 6 minus 3g equals 0. I'm going to have this one, 6 plus 3g equals 0. So I have three equations. Oh, that one's done. So g equals 0 is one of my potential answers, or one of my answers. Subtract 6 on both sides, so I have negative 3g equals negative 6. Divide by negative 3, and I have y equals 2. Subtract 6 on both sides. 3g equals negative 6. Divide by 3, g equals negative 2. So my three answers are g equals 0, g equals 2, and g equals negative 2. Three answers. Please put a box around each of your answers. And for your homework, you are going to be doing problems 1 through 12.